Train to Busan Peninsula is a sequel to the 2016 Korean zombie film Train to Busan. I thought the first Train to Busan was awesome, but the sequel is not in the same league. As far as the plot goes, it has been 4 years since the events of the first film, and we follow a new group of characters. Korea has been quarantined and blockaded, so nobody ever goes in, and nobody ever comes out. A few Korean refugees who are living in Hong Kong get recruited by a crime boss to sneak back into Korea to find a truck full of millions of dollars and bring it back to Hong Kong. As you can imagine, this simple mission goes south when our protagonists unexpectedly run into the Koreans who were left behind. The first film was suspenseful, it created a great sense of foreboding, it had clever action set pieces, and it had sympathetic, relatable characters. Unfortunately, Peninsula has none of these things. It isn't very scary, it's rarely suspenseful, it has a lot of cliches, and the characters have no depth. My biggest problem with Peninsula is the action. Peninsula relies too heavily on CGI. The biggest action set pieces are CG car chase scenes that do not look good. Seeing fake cars with questionable physics drift, spin around, dodge obstacles, and run over CG zombies just isn't exciting. Our characters are also rarely put in clever or interesting situations. In the first movie, we had our characters constantly put in problematic scenarios that required clever solutions. For example, they need to get past zombies that are crowded in a train car, and our protagonists notice that the zombies stop moving when it goes dark. So they wait until the train goes under a tunnel, and then they climb up on the baggage shelves and try to get to the next car before the tunnel ends. It's clever, it's suspenseful, someone accidentally knocks over a piece of luggage and makes noise, and it's great. There isn't anything like that in Peninsula. It's just the generic zombies run at our heroes shoot the zombies until they run out of bullets, and then they jump in the car and run over the zombies, rinse and repeat. My second biggest problem is that we get a lot of action movie cliches, post-apocalyptic cliches, and zombie cliches. For example, we get the cliche where someone is about to kill one of our protagonists, and then a car comes out of nowhere and hits the attacker, and someone leans out and says, "Get in if you want to live!" We have the cliche of the good survivors who have maintained their humanity, and we have the bad survivors who have become violent and greedy. We have a Thunderdome sequence where prisoners get in a cage fight with zombies. Someone says, "No matter what happens, stay here in the car." And then the person who was told to stay in the car shows up to save the day at the last minute. And then they say, "I thought I told you to stay in the car." And they say something silly like, "When have I ever listened to you?" There are other things I didn't like, but I want to keep this relatively short. Now, what did I like about the movie? It has a good message. The moral of the story is that it doesn't matter where you are, you can still be happy as long as you have your family. Yeah, I mean, that's cute. That's a cute message. Also, while I didn't like the over-reliance on CGI, I still thought it looked pretty good, all things considered. It doesn't look cheap, it just looks too artificial. I also liked the ending. The ending was pretty emotional and inspiring, so it has that going for it. It's also not too graphic, so this may be a good zombie movie for those who may not be able to stomach the more hardcore zombie films out there. I think one reason World War Z made so much money in the theaters is because it was a zombie film that wasn't too violent and graphic, so non-horror fans could see it and not be too traumatized, and this movie is similar in that sense. Overall, this movie doesn't have anything we haven't seen 100 times before, but if you're looking for a mildly amusing throwaway horror flick with Korean actors, then this is your movie.